Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Chirag Patni and I am working as an application engineer in engineering technique. Thank you all for joining today's session. Today I will be presenting on SOLIDWORKS Composer, how technical documentation made easy. In this webinar, we will understand how we can convert CAD models into clear, interactive and professional technical documentation. This includes things like assembly instruction, maintenance manuals and visual guides. The main goal of today's session is to give you a clear understanding of how Composer helps in improving communication between design, manufacturing, and service teams. Let me quickly walk through today's agenda. We will start with a brief introduction, then understand what SOLIDWORKS Composer is and why it is used. After that, we will go through the workflow and key features. And finally, we will cover use cases, benefits, and question answer sessions. Okay, every product needs proper documentation for assembly, maintenance, and services. In traditional method, we use CAD screenshots, which is time consuming and not very efficient. Also, if there is any design change, updating the documentation becomes difficult. And many times, these documentations are not easy to understand, especially for non-technical users. Because of these communication gaps can happen between design teams and end users. It also increases chance of errors during assembly and maintenance activities. So there is a need for a solution which provides clear, accurate, and easy visual communication. Okay, now let's understand what SOLIDWORKS Composer is. SOLIDWORKS Composer is a tool used to create technical documentation directly from CAD data. It helps us convert CAD models into clear visuals like manuals, assembly instruction, and service guides. Because of this, documentation process becomes faster, more accurate, and easy to manage. We can create exploded views, step-by-step procedures, and detailed illustration very easily. It also allows us to reuse the same CAD data without doing repeated work. Another advantage is that any design changes can be updated with quickly in the documentation. SOLIDWORKS Composer helps us to create visual content like manuals and work instruction. We can show assembly steps in a clear and easy to understand format. This improves communications and makes it easier for user to follow the process. We can use exploded views, callouts, and annotations to clearly represent each step. It allows us to highlight important parts and hide unnecessary components for better focus. Because of this, even complex assembly can be explained in a simple way. This reduces confusion and helps users to perform tasks more accurately. Overall, it improves understanding, efficiency, and quality of documentation. SOLIDWORKS Composer does not require reopening the CAD software again. We can directly use the available data to create a view documentation. This saves time and also allows non-CAD users to access the content easily. SOLIDWORKS Composer does not require reopening the CAD software again for documentation work. CAD tools are very important for design and engineering, but Composer allows us to use existing CAD data separately for documentation. We can directly import and use the available CAD data to create and view documentation. SOLIDWORKS Composer supports multiple CAD formats like SOLIDWORKS files, part files, assembly files, steps, IGS, and other 3D. Okay, so we can import data from different CAD systems into one platform. This gives flexibility and makes collaboration easier between teams. SOLIDWORKS Composer enables creation of exploded views, bombs, and animation. It helps in clearly showing assembly sequence and component details. This makes documentation more interactive and easy to understand. It also allows easy updates and sharing of documentation in multiple formats like PDF, HTML, and video. Overall, it simplifies complex product information, making it accessible and understand for all users. Now, before we going into the solution, let's understand why tools like SOLIDWORKS Composer are required. In today's industry, products are becoming more complex, so the need for proper technical documentation is increasing. Teams need faster and more efficient ways to communicate design information. Also, frequent design changes make it difficult to keep documentation updated. There is a strong need for clear and visual instruction that everyone can understand. And reducing dependency on CAD software is also important. So all these challenges create the need for a tool like SOLIDWORKS Composer. Let's take a closer look at how traditional documentation approaches differ from SOLIDWORKS Composer in terms of efficiency and clarity. In traditional documentation, we mostly depend on manual screenshots from CAD softwares. This process takes more time and becomes difficult to update when changes happen. Also, for non-technical users, these drawings are not easy to understand. Because of this, it creates a problem in communication, verification, and maintenance. In the traditional documentation process is very time consuming and involves many manual steps. First, we open the CAD model, find required views, and take screenshot manually. Then we create annotations, callouts, and BOM separately using different tools. If any design change happens, we have to repeat the whole process again. So overall, it becomes repetitive, error prone, and less efficient. Another major challenge in traditional documentation is updating design changes. Even a small change in the CAD model needs manual updates in drawings, screenshots, BOM, and annotation. This process takes more time and also increases chance of error for missing updates. Because of this, teams may end up using outdated or documentation. Another key issue with traditional documentation is poor visualization, especially for non-technical users. The information is often cluttered with multiple symbols, arrows, and tables, making it difficult to understand. User may find it confusing to follow steps, which increases the chance of mistakes. Overall, it is not user-friendly and requires technical knowledge to interpret correctly. Another important point in traditional documentation is high dependency on CAD software. CAD tools like SOLIDWORKS are essential for design and engineering, and they play a very important role. However, when it comes to documentation, every step still depends on CAD, from creating views to adding annotation and sharing. This means user need CAD access license and technical knowledge, even for simple viewing or reviewing. This can slow down collaboration, especially for non-technical teams like services, training, and customer. So here the challenge is not itself, but the dependency of documentation on CAD tools. And this is where SOLIDWORKS Composer adds value by reducing that dependency for viewing communication. Now we will see how SOLIDWORKS Composer helps in automated visual content creation. This will be SolidWorks documentation with SolidWorks Composer. In traditional method, we have to open CAD, take screenshot, edit image, and manual add annotation and tables. But in Composer, all this process become easy because it directly uses 3D CAD data. We can quickly create exploded views, clear visuals, and technical illustrations. So overall, documentation becomes faster, more accurate, and easy to update. Now we will see how SolidWorks Composer make documentation faster and more efficient. Using Composer, we can quickly create step-by-step instruction like this with clear visual and direction. We don't need to take multiple screenshots or edit manually. Everything is generated directly from 3D model. This saves a lot of time and also reduces chance of error. So overall, the documentation process becomes much faster, accurate, and easy to understand. Now we will see how Composer helps in easy updates. In traditional method, every change needs manual updates, but in Composer, we just update the model once, all views, callouts, BOM updated automatically, and so it saves time and reduce effort. Now we will see how Composer provides clear and interactive visuals. We can create exploded views and detailed visual instruction easily. User can rotate, zoom, and interact with the model. It helps in better understanding, especially for non-technical users. So overall, communication becomes more clear and effective. Now, another key advantage is reduced CAD dependency for viewing. CAD tools are very important for design work, but not everyone in the team needs full CAD access. With SOLIDWORKS Composer, user can view and understand the content without opening CAD software. We can share lightweight files or outputs that are easy to access and interact with. This helps non-technical users like services teams, operators, and customers to understand the product easily. It also improves collaboration and speeds up communication across different teams. So here, CAD is still used for design, but Composer makes that information more accessible for everyone. Now let's understand the workflow in SOLIDWORKS Composer with a practical example. First, we design the complete assembly in SOLIDWORKS. Once the design is finalized, we isolate the specific part or sub-assembly that we want to document. In this case, I will focus on this arm assembly for which we will create an exploded view along with the bomb. Now we open SOLIDWORKS Composer, go to File, open here. You can see that the Composer supports multiple file formats like SMG, SOLIDWORKS file, step file, IGS, and other standard 3D formats. I have already created an SMG file in SOLIDWORKS, so I will open that file in Composer. Once the model is loaded, we can manage and adjust views as per our requirement. Go to Align Camera and you can set asymmetric view. We can also change the renderer environment, including lighting, shadow, ground, and background settings. This helps improve the visual clarity of the model. Now I will create a new view. Go to new view and rename it as an arm exploded. Next, I will be hide all unnecessary component and keep only the required assembly, which I have on the arm. Yes, you can unhide. This can be done either by selecting component or hiding them, or by using the assembly tree. You can check and check box. Okay. Now I will generate the exploded view of this assembly. Go to transform, translate, select the components and move them in the required direction. Here is a quick release pin I have in this nut also. And you can choose two different parts. These allow us to clearly visualize how each part is assembled. Next, we generate the bill of material. Go to workshop tab and select generate bomb. You can see that the bomb is created automatically with the item numbers, parts name, and description. Also, you can change the properties from this tab. Now we add callouts by selecting all components and clicking on create callouts. You can see the callouts are there. randomly appeared. You can also add manual callouts by selecting the component to organize them properly. We use magnetic lines and align the callouts neatly. Now we display the okay. Just Okay, now we display the bomb table in the graphics area. We can adjust its position and modify properties like placement and layout as per requirement. Just create and you can display the bomb table anywhere in graphics area. Finally, we can publish the output. We can export high resolution images in formats like JPG, PNG, or TIF. Just go to save as. Here you can see save as type. Also, you can preview the image before saving. We can also create a technical illustration uh, in formats like SVG, EPS, or CGM. Just cite the properties, save as, and you can see. Additionally, we can preview the output directly in a browser before the sharing. Overall, SOLIDWORKS Composer simplifies the entire documentation process by covering complex CAD data into clear, visual, and easy to understand content. It saves times, reduces error, and makes technical information accessible to both technical and non-technical users. Okay, now let's look at some of the key features of SOLIDWORKS Composer. It helps. Now let us look at one of the important features of SOLIDWORKS Composer. It helps in creating exploded view for assembly instruction. We can separate each component and show the complete assembly step by step. Also, we can add callouts and labels to identify each part clearly. This improves understanding and reduce confusion during assembly. It is very useful for operators, technicians, and training purpose. Now we will see another important feature, which is automatic bomb and balloon callouts. Composer can automatically generate the bill of materials from the assembly. We can also create balloon callouts to identify each component clearly. These callouts are linked with the BOM, so everything stays organized. This reduces manual work and improves accuracy in documentation. Now we will see one of the more important feature, which is interactive animation. On the right side, you can see a short animation of the assembly and it's working. It's a battery removal process. In Composer, we can create animation to show how parts move, assemble, or function step by step. User can clearly understand the sequence and working without any confusion. Compared to static images, animation gives a much better and realistic understanding. This is very useful for training, maintenance, instruction, and presentations. Now we will see another important feature, which is multiple output format. Composer allow us to publish the same content in different formats like PDF, image, video, and HTML files. So we can create once and share everywhere based on requirement. This makes the documentation flexible and easy to distribute. Also, different teams can access the content in the formats they prefer. So overall, SOLIDWORKS Composer helps to create clear, fast, and easy to manage technical documentation. It improves communication, reduces effort, and makes the information accessible to everyone. Now let us look at some important use cases of SOLIDWORKS Composer. Composer is widely used in different areas where clear and visual documentation required. One major use cases is creating assembly instruction for complex equipment. We can clearly show internal components step by step, assembly and part position. This helps users to understand even complex system easily. It reduces confusion and improves accuracy during assembly. We can also use exploded views, callouts, animation to give the user properly. This is very useful for shop floor operations and technicians. It also helps in reducing training time and minimizing error during assembly. Another important use cases is creating maintenance manuals for industrial machines. Using Composer, we can create step-by-step maintenance instruction like this. We can clearly show how to remove, inspect, and replace component with proper visual guidance. All steps can be supported with arrows, callouts, and clear directions. This makes it very easy for technicians to follow the process correctly. It also reduces chance of mistakes during maintenance operation. Additionally, it helps in standardizing maintenance procedure across teams. So overall, it improves efficiency, safety, and reduce downtime. Another important use case is spare part documentation with BOM. Using Composer, we can clearly show all components along with their part details. We can generate the bill of material and link it with balloon callouts. This helps users to easily identify each part of its position in the assembly. It becomes very careful, useful for spare parts management, services, and ordering. Also, it reduces confusion and ensures correct part selection. So overall, it improves accuracy and makes the documentation more organized. Another important use case is creating training content for operators and technicians. Using Composer, we can create step-by-step visual instruction for servicing and maintenance. We can clearly show each actions like removing part or replacing component with the proper direction arrows. This makes it very easy for operators to understand the process without confusion. Even new user or technicians can follow the instruction without needing deep technical knowledge. It also helps in reducing training time and improving work accuracy on the shop floor. So overall, Solvers Composer helps in delivering clear visual and easy to understand content for multiple use cases, improving efficiency, accuracy, and communication across the entire flow. Okay, now let's look at where Solvers Composer is used in. Okay. To summarize the key benefits of Solvers Composer, it significantly reduces the time required to create technical documentation. It allows easy updates whenever there are design changes. It improves clarity through the visual communication, making it easier to understand complex assemblies. CAD tools are still essential for design, but Composer reduces the dependency on CAD for viewing and sharing documentation. This helps different teams to access and understand information without needing full CAD expertise. It also enhances collaboration between designing services and training teams. And overall, it helps in creating professional, consistent, and high quality documentation. So it not only saves time but also improves the overall communication and efficiency. Okay, with this, I'm conclude my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention. I would now be happy to take any questions. Anyone?